welcome to the 20th Annual BCLUW Middle School Veterans Day program. On behalf of the staff and students here, I would like to thank you for spending part of your afternoon with us to celebrate our veterans. At this time, I would like to introduce David Schmidt from the Union American Legion Post number 255.
Thank you. If you're able, and only if you're able, please stand as we present the flags and then the colors. The Army flag. Navy flag. Air Force flag. Coast Guard. Now, if you place your hand over your heart, we'll post the colors.
Left-hand, hook, port, arms. Forward, march. Halt. Present, arms. Post the colors.
If you please stay standing, we're going to have the Star Panhandlers this time. Please sing along. Thank you.
Thank you, 7th and 8th grade band. At this time, I have the privilege to introduce to you this afternoon our MCs, Lindsay Beagley and Morgan Bergman.
The students and staff of BCLUW Middle School welcome you to our annual Veterans Day program. We are excited that you are here to help us celebrate our 20th year of honoring those men and women who have given us our freedom. We would like to thank the late Mr. John Perkins, Mr. Boardman, and Mrs. Rosalie Patton for helping create a Veterans Day program that has become a tradition at our school. The last 20 years have seen changes in faces, but one thing stays constant: our feelings that veterans are very special. The Veterans Day Student Leadership Committee at BCLUW Middle School takes pride in planning and hosting the program each year. We want each of you to know how much we appreciate all of you have done for us.
At this time, we would like to recognize our special guests. Would you please stand as I introduce you? We are honored to have our 3rd District Legion Commander, Dan Howley, with us today. We would like to personally welcome you and thank you for coming to our Veterans Day program today. We are also honored to have our very special local American Legion commanders here with us today. We would like to welcome you and thank you for all that you do. I would ask that applause is held until all names have been read. David Schmidt, Union Legion Commander. Dan Shine, Conrad Legion Commander. Marlon Moeller, Beeman Legion Commander. Please join me in welcoming our 3rd District's Legion Commander and local American Legion Commanders. Thank you for all that you do for us, for our communities, military members, and their families. Your dedication does not go unnoticed.
We would also like to recognize the local Legion Auxiliary President. Would you please stand as your name is read? We ask that applause is held until all names have been read. Sue Kitzman, Conrad Auxiliary President. Denise Zern, Beeman Auxiliary President. Sharon Hatch, Liscombe Auxiliary President. Pat Williams, 3rd District and Marshall County American Legion Auxiliary President. Please join me in welcoming our Legion Auxiliary Presidents. Thank you for all that you do for us, our communities, service members, and their families. Your support does not go unrecognized. At this time, would Jeffrey Conaway, representing our Middle School Veterans Day Committee and Boy Scout Troop number 107, please come forward.
Would you please rise, face the flag, and join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America
wrote poems to honor veterans. A member of the Conrad American Legion Auxiliary reviewed the poems and selected 4 special ones to be read today. The first poem will be read by 8th grade student Amber Parks. Her poem is titled A Veteran's Sacrifice.
A veteran's sacrifice. Veterans, you are the reason we can be who we want to be today. Because of your dedication and determination, we are free. You stay strong and committed even though you knew the memories of battle and loss would scar you forever. It is impossible to thank you enough for your service and sacrifice.
Thank you, Amber. Next, 8th grade student Lucas Harwell will read his poem titled Veterans Day.
Veterans Day. On this day, we honor everyone who has served our country. On this day, communities come together to thank you. We honor you for the sacrifices that you have made for your country. You are the true heroes. You took the time away from your everyday lives to help your country. You fight for your country, serve your country, and protect your country. Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Lucas.
At this time, Lucas Thomas, a 7th grade student, will read his poem, The Ones.
The ones. The ones who fought for us deserve a law. The ones who died deserve more time. This is why we should respect and honor them, because they protect us, one and all. So every time you do something freely, remember they fought for every single one of you.
Thank you, Lucas. 7th grade student Sarah Garber, will you please come forward and share your poem titled Without You?
Without you, we are thankful for a lot of things. Thankful for family, thankful for friends, thankful for food and shelter. Every single one of you has made that possible. Without you, we aren't guaranteed a home. Without you, we aren't guaranteed a school. Without you, we aren't guaranteed anything. So everyone look around at all these people and think about how much they have sacrificed for us. Thank you.
Thank you, Sarah. We would like to thank Mrs. DeVore, Mrs. Piper, and Mrs. Martin, along with all of the 7th and 8th grade students who shared their heartfelt message to the veterans by writing a personal poem. These poems have been posted in the hallway for you to read.
As we prepare to acknowledge our branches of service members, we would like to invite Reagan Crawford and Jacob Castro to come forward. The United States Armed Forces consists of 5 active duty services along with their respective Guard and Reserve units. All branches work together to defend the country and are headed by the President as Commander-in-Chief. The Army, Marine Corps, Navy, and Air Force fall under the Department of Defense. The Coast Guard reports to the Department of Homeland Security. We will now present the branches of service. Army veterans, please stand while we listen to The Army Goes Rolling Along, played by 8th graders Moira Severa and Liam Spiker, directed by Mr. David Bartling.
States Army is the oldest and largest branch of the United States Armed Forces. It was established in 1775 when General George Washington took command and led it to victory over Britain in the Revolutionary War. It is supported by two reserve services, the Army Reserves and the Army National Guard. The United States Army is the branch of the armed services responsible for military land operations. They must be prepared to use swift, forceful action to overcome any enemy that might threaten the United States or its interests in other parts of the world. They also train the military forces of many friendly countries and supply them with equipment. Please stand when your name is called. Tim Aiken. Jody Anderson. Michael Acoin. Roger Beagley. Ron Beagley. Wayne Bracy. Eric Calloway. Stephen B. Cushenberry. David Degner. John Drummer. Paul Dudley. Bill Fisher. Dwayne Garber. Lucas Halverson. Mike Hines. George Hooper. Owen Kerber. Ron Lodhoff. Jerry Lehman. Tom Martin. Rex McElroy. David Mitchell. Marlon Moeller. Bill Patton. Joe Rash. Clifford Sams. Dan Shine. Bo Severa. Jen Spees. William DeVere Spiker. Lyle Stolzman. Dale W. Sir. Jim Teskey. Tim Thomas. Michelle Sheets. Laura Wonkin. Marine veterans, please stand while we listen to the Marine Corps hymn played by 8th grade students Connor Brewer and Mason Martin. United States Marine Corps was established in 1775 to act as a landing force for the Navy, but in 1798, Congress made them a separate service. It is the smallest branch of the United States Armed Forces and is supported by the Marine Corps Reserve. The Marine Corps is amphibious, which means they serve at sea and in special missions on land and in the air. The Marine's primary job is to perform. Please stand when your name is called. Terry Aucoin. Merle Averill. Rick Crawford. Cody Donaldson. Jeff Frank. Chad Hupfeld. Matt McGinty. Brandon Pike. David Schmidt.
Navy veterans, please stand while we listen to the Navy song, Anchors Away, played by 8th graders Miranda Jones and Sam Garber. The United States Navy is the branch of the armed forces that acts to maintain command of the sea. Its primary mission is to protect the nation's shores and waterways.
In a time of peace, the Navy helps maintain international laws at sea. Navy ships also carry food and medical supplies to disaster areas. The Navy uses ships to attack land targets from miles away, submarines to attack enemies from right off their shores, and planes and helicopters to attack enemy planes and ships. They are also responsible for transporting Marines to areas of conflict and helping the Air Force by sending aircraft carriers to places where fixed runways are impossible. Please stand when your name is called. Richard Fry. Rusty Sniver, Jamie Snyder, Jeff Logan, Roger Westling,
Air Force veterans, please stand while we listen to the Air Force, played by 8th graders Mallory Jones, Miranda Jones, Maggie Ward, and 7th grader Savannah Moore. The youngest military service, the U.S. Air Force, started out as a part of the Army. World War II showed that air power had much more potential, so in 1947 it became an independent branch that is supported by the Air Force Reserves and the Air National Guard. This branch is responsible for most military operations in the air and space.
The Air Force uses satellites and aircraft equipped with modern technology to scan the Earth for signs of hostile activity. They have the power to fight back immediately with conventional or nuclear weapons. The Air Force also supports ground troops in battle and uses transport planes to deliver troops and supplies. Please stand when your name is called.
Don Barker. Nathan Bernard. Jonathan Bricker. Bob Daniel. Bill Steelhart. Nicole Naprestic. Wally Kitzman. Patrick Morris. Lauren Paxson.
Kitzman. Brett Kitzman. Coast Guard veterans, please stand while we listen to the Coast Guard song Semper Paratus, played by 7th graders Sarah Garber and Allison Ward. The United States Coast Guard serves as the chief agency for protecting life and property at sea and enforcing the United States maritime laws. They use ships and boats to protect our shores. Their motto, which is also the name of their song, means always ready.
The Coast Guard stops people from entering the country illegally, protects our ports from attack, tracks down drug runners and smugglers, and performs daring ocean rescues. On an average day, the Coast Guard will conduct 109 search and rescue cases, save 10 lives, and assist 192 people in distress at sea. The Coast Guard also enforces United Nations sanctions, inspects cargo, and trains foreign Coast Guards and other Navy branches. The Coast Guard is proud to be a small service with a big job.
In peacetime, the Coast Guard operates as a branch of the Department of Transportation. In the time of war, it becomes an active part of the United States Navy. Please stand when your name is called.
Gary Engel, Robert Garber,
Are there any veterans with us today that we have not recognized? If so, would you please stand and tell us your name and grade of service? Thank you to each and every one of you for your dedication and loyalty to our country.
At this time, we would like to recognize the brave men and women who are currently serving in the military and therefore cannot be here today. We thank you for your continued service and dedication to our country. If you have a family member that is currently serving in the military, would you please stand?
Our guest keynote speaker today is Dr. Monty Selby. Dr. Selby has his roots in education as an award-winning teacher, principal, and professor. He works as a trainer and consultant, has keynoted national and international conferences, and written music with nearly 36,000 kindergarten through 12th grade students. On the creative side, he co-authored 8 books and composed over 100 published songs, including Check Your Attitude, which landed on the 2012 Grammy Award-winning Best Children's Album. Dr. Selby spent October 24th with us. We spent the day in breakout sessions where we shared with him what veterans mean to us and how they make our lives better. Dr. Selby then took all of our ideas and created a song using our thoughts, feelings, and words. Dr. Selby also spent the day with area veterans where he was able to listen to their stories and thank them for their service. Please help me by giving a warm welcome to Dr. Monty Selby.
That was the non-professional entrance.
Check. Hey.
I'm going to tune up for those of you who can tell the difference. Okay. Yeah.
Check.
All right. So my name is Monty, and it's been great to work with students here and with veterans, and I'm very honored to be here, and I have to tell you, my mom would be incredibly proud because she is about the most patriotic person I know, and she was also my music teacher from kindergarten to 8th grade, which means all of those songs that you heard the band play, I know all the words to those, except one, which I'm going to have a talk with her about because we grew up in Oklahoma. And just because there's no water in Oklahoma doesn't mean she shouldn't have taught me the Coast Guard song. So she has work to do yet. So it's been great in 4-H. Do you have 4-H here? Yeah. So in 8th grade, all of the 8th graders in the entire school district, 12 of us, competed in the share the fun, and we went all the way to the state thing. And of course we had red, white, and blue, and everything was patriotic. And the only song she didn't let us play, which I thought was the best guitar tune, and she wouldn't let us use of it. But my favorite was always getting to do, "This land is your land, this land is my land." Have you heard that? From California to the New York Islands, from the Redwood Forest to the Ocean Ball. This land was made for you and me. Yeah, so I've been learning songs my whole life, and I love to sing them, but even more than that, I like to get to write songs. So just to be clear, everything in the songs that you will hear today that came from the students, for instance, every word in those songs came from the students, and same with the song that the veterans who were here on Saturday wrote. So we'll jump into some things. So, what words go there? Hit it. Yeah, okay. There's another thing about songs, that if you write a song that is loaded with patterns, the brain loves that. So whether it's a verse, chorus, or it's a guitar part that goes over and over, and this has been going on for a long time, so you guys get ready. It's your job to help me out. Let's see if you recognize the pattern. Yeah. So the brain loves the pattern called rhymes. So I'll give you 3 words and you be ready to fill in the blank. All my exes. Yeah, it likes rhymes. It lets it know what's coming on. So similarly, if you do a similarity, the brain can kind of guess what's coming, and even clear back to Beethoven, he used that. So when he went dun 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 dun, you knew you're supposed to go dun dun dun. Yeah. Another thing that has been used from Beethoven to the Beatles is if you use repetition. It's another kind of pattern. So when they went, we all live in a yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Yellow submarine. Okay, there's another Beatles song that uses a different kind of repetition or pattern, which is called echo. I have no idea if you guys can do this or not, but I'm just going to try it just to see what happens. So please be ready to help them. Okay? This song has an echo that helped make it famous. Well, shake it up, baby, now. Shake it up, baby. Yeah. Yeah. Twist and shout, but don't start dancing. So another thing that sometimes songwriters do is they put a chant in, and then the chant becomes familiar and people know what to do. And so let me just give you an example of one that ended up in a really famous TV show. So act like you're ready, here it comes. Who lives in a pineapple under the sea? SpongeBob SquarePants! Yeah, that worked pretty good. So, that got your attention. So sometimes in a song, you set it up as verse, chorus, verse, chorus, verse, chorus, because the chorus becomes familiar. And that's another kind of pattern that we use in songs. And we're going to apply all this in just a minute. So this song was a #1 hit in 1941, before I was listening to radio. And it's still around because the chorus is so familiar and so singable. I'll show you. It goes like this. You are my sunshine. My only sunshine. Make me happy when skies are gray. You never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. You sound really good, by the way. Okay, and just one last thing. There was a song I learned as a kid, and I doubt you guys know this, but I think you guys do, but it requires 4 claps, so try to be ready to take charge. Okay. Well, we'll just try this and see if it works. I don't know that you guys know where the 4 claps go, but the cool thing is, since it's a repeated pattern, once you hear the first one, you'll know what's happening. Because patterns to the brain are powerful, and a song goes like this. The stars at night are big and bright. Deep in the heart of Texas, reminds me of the one I love. Deep in the heart of Texas. Yeah, you get the idea. So, patterns are something that the brain loves to recognize, and it will hang on to them. Because some of those songs, I'm pretty sure you heard a few, maybe like that last one, that you have not heard for a while, but the brain is so eager to grab onto patterns, it'll hold on to them. So we're in a gym, so I have to do something else about patterns to say something to you guys about patterns and how patterns are like habits, so that when we get to the song that the veterans wrote for you guys, you can think about how those habits can be a powerful thing. So let me set this down. And since we're in a gym, I'm going to use a basketball to make my point. So, for instance, if I were to have a basketball like that, then everybody knows that if you practice using a good form on your shot, and you do that same pattern over and over, it will become a habit so that your brain doesn't have to think about it. It's what I call autopilot. And if you dribble enough with your right hand until that becomes automatic and you don't have to think about it, as in Sunday we were over here and fourth graders were in the gym practicing and kids were dribbling. And if you do that enough, before long you can do it without looking, and then you work on your left hand. But when I was your age, my number one priority was to be able to do this. And I did that over and over so that first graders would walk by and say, whoa. And after a while, you have to do that over and over until you can talk to a crowd and not think about it. And if that doesn't work, then you roll it up your arm, because first graders will go, whoa. The only thing is that any habit that you grab onto is something that may be incredibly helpful. So any sport or any musical instrument, everybody knows, if you practice the scales and you practice reading the notes and you practice the guitar chords and you practice the drum beats and you practice basketball and volleyball or even track, for instance, the things that your body becomes accustomed to, even with running, becomes a habit, so it knows what to do without having to think about it, even if you're nervous and you drop a basketball. So familiarity to the brain can make things sort of autopilot. And that's incredibly helpful, but some things like this really don't help the team win at all. But they don't necessarily hurt, they're just sort of neutral. But some things, if every time I threw a pass, what I practiced was throwing it out of bounds, that would be a hurtful habit, because the coach and other players would not be so happy if my habit hurt the team. So we're constantly going through life, learning new habits that are helpful, finding some that are neutral, and realizing some are sort of hurtful. So one of the things I had to do when I was your age was do something that I think is amazingly smart. You find somebody who does something you want to be able to do, and you copy their habits until those hard things to do become easy, and then you get to enjoy the benefits. And my dad used to do this, except with two basketballs. When he was watching practices, a lot of times he would be on the sideline, and he would have two basketballs. So instead of dribbling one, he would dribble two, and sometimes he would go slow, and sometimes he'd go fast, or he'd alternate them, but he didn't ever look down, because he could always see what's happening in the game. And I thought, I gotta be able to do that, except it took me like 3 years to get that down. He had one other thing he did that won't necessarily make you a better player, but as he would do things with the basketball like this, just to get used to the feel, so your hands get used to it. And then once in a while, he would do this other thing, and I was like, I definitely want to be able to do that. And if you practice this over and over and over enough, eventually it becomes a habit, sports and music are great examples where everybody gets it, that if you play that guitar enough on the things you have to know, it becomes easy. You've done it so many times, the brain's awesome. The only weird thing is, if I could just show you this real quick, if everyone would cross their arms, just don't drop your instruments over there. If you cross your arms, you might notice that some of us cross our arms and our left wrist ends up on top. And some of us, when we cross our arms, our right wrist is the one on top. So everyone with a left wrist on top, raise your hand. Everyone with a right wrist on top, raise your hand. And then try this. Now chances are either your left thumb is on top or your right thumb. There's only a couple options here. So everyone with a left thumb on top, please raise your hand. Look around the room. Everyone with a right thumb on top. And just for fun, who is a left wrist and left thumb on top person? Getting pretty complex here. Who is a right wrist on top and a right thumb on top? And then who's a combo, right, left, right? Okay. The cool thing is it doesn't matter. But this next part could change your life, so get ready. When I say go, I'm going to cross arms backwards. Since I'm a left on top, I'm going to go right on top. So here we go backwards, cross your arms, put the wrong one on top. And who finds that really weird? Yeah. Well, let's try this. Try to grab your hands with the opposite thumb on top. And now put your hands down. Only if you find that, it doesn't apply to everybody. Some people either way feels right, but if it feels wrong to you to do it backwards, just nod your head at me so I can get a quick view. Okay, so here's the thing. Everybody can get the idea that some habits help and some habits are neutral. Like if you're a little kid and you cry, that doesn't hurt a thing. And if you have some habits that aren't so helpful and somebody says you ought to change that, that's where it gets difficult because our body already loves those habits, and to give them up gets hard. And so one of the things that people from this group was telling me that I think applies to you guys is that when they got drafted or when they signed up, one of the things they said is all these habits from civilian life and being a kid in a small town in Iowa, and then you go to boot camp and you start training, and all of a sudden people say, you're not doing any of that stuff anymore, which our body says, but that's the way I like it. And then you learn a whole new set of stuff, but the amazing part is when you learn what these guys are telling me, is that when you learn the new stuff and you do that enough, instead of being the this is weird, that becomes this is how we do what we do. Sort of makes sense? So your whole life is an opportunity to say, I can keep getting better, I can keep learning new stuff forever, if I'm willing to say, I've got to take that habit, try this one instead, and practice it till it starts to feel normal. In fact, in sports, which is probably what most of you are more interested in, one of the things about that is that there are habits that you want to practice so many times. It's not just that it gets easier, it gets hard to even mess up. Like if you shoot a free throw, goal's up there, but if you shoot a free throw enough times in your life, it becomes hard to even try to miss because everything you have done over and over is to do it right. And here's the last thing for you guys I'd like you to consider. Since when we were writing a song, we weren't just talking about music and basketball, is that how you prepare in the military is about learning new habits. How you gain better study habits is about here's when I need to do it and how I need to approach it. And also, I think something that's overlooked sometimes that shows up in the songs that we're going to do is that sometimes being a better friend and a better neighbor is about copying some people who are great at it and being a neighbor like this person or being a friend like this person and seeing what they do and copying that until as you grow up, you can copy some of the amazing adults in this room. But it's even true for how to be a good neighbor. There are habits that we can learn and practice until it comes easy. So let's move from me talking to us singing. And so these guys, when they sing, if you catch on to the pattern, the habit of what we're doing, you just jump in. I'm going to grab my guitar. So I wrote this song with an 8th grader. 8th graders, please raise your hand and hold them up for just a minute so the people in the room can see where the 8th graders are. Yeah, there's our 8th grade. Okay, thank you. You can put your hands down. So I wrote this song with an 8th grader from from New York, who felt like the habits to learn have to do with our brothers and sisters and neighbors and the people around us. That's how we make ourselves better, and our community better, and our world better. So, you guys good to go? Big breath. Ready? Stand by your brother. Stand by your sister. Stand by your neighbor. 'Cause they all need you. Stand by your brother. Stand by your sister. Stand by your neighbor. 'Cause they all need you. Look over there. And what do you see? I see my little brother and he's watching me. He's got no friends when he gets pushed around, but I'm always there to pick him up off the ground. Stand by your brother, stand by your sister, stand by your neighbor, 'cause they all need you. Look over there. What do you see? I see my little sister and she's watching me. Hey, she's the youngest, but she's not a spoiled brat, because you know I won't put up with that. Stand by your brother, stand by your sister, stand by your neighbor, 'cause they all need you. Look over there. What do you see? I see my neighbor and he's watching me. He looks like a grandpa, but no children come, and he gets so lonely and he needs someone. Stand by your brother, stand by your sister, stand by your neighbor, 'cause they all need you. Stand by your brother, stand by your sister, stand by your neighbor, because they all need you. Well, now, today you might not realize, oh, that someone's looking up to you. That's just one more reason why. Stand by your brother. Can we handle it? Stand by your sister. Can we handle it? Stand by your neighbor. Can we handle it? Oh, stand by your brother. Because they all need you. Give them a hand. comes from Virginia. And I need the 14, you know who you are. You guys, the words are going to be behind you, but you're going to hear it from these guys. And all of you, once you figure it out, you just jump in. This is a song, 5th grade, would you please raise your hand, and 6th grade. 5th and 6th grade. I wrote this song in Virginia with 5th and 6th graders who thought maybe the habits of the world that could make this a better place for all of us, it would go like this. One of the 8th graders have to come help her out. She doesn't want to do it. And under his eyes, you got it, is the darkness of worry and pain. You're good. You come on up. Yeah. Is looking for someone to offer a comforting place, which is just what you're doing. Here we go. You ready? There will be comfort. Here, come on. There will be comfort. A little more. In my life. Next time about twice that big, okay? All right, second verse. So with a hand to the homeless and a smile to the scared and the shy. And we'll put an end to the tempting and the teasing and the taking of pride. Oh, it's time for more efforts to guide and to show and explain. Yeah. And we need a beacon to lead those who seek a comforting place. All right, get big. Here we go. There will be comfort here. There will be comfort here. In my life, oh, there will be comfort. So I will try to do more than try. I will be the change. No longer the bystander just waiting for someone more brave. So I will talk at you less, I will listen and hear, and I will look in your face. Oh, and I will offer to you a comforting place. All right, here we go, you ready? There will be comfort here. There will be comfort in my life. Oh, there will be comfort here. One more time, I said there will be comfort. Thank you. Let's roll on. Could the people who came in and shared some ideas for the song that's called Veteran Pride? Can you guys wave at me? Yeah. Out here, some of these guys. Okay. So we got a good start on this, and as Les said when I was singing at his house the other day when it started to come together, he said, I think it should be called Lessons from Veterans, because you guys up there, I want you to listen to every word, because this gets interesting. And just so you know, we had a veteran who was drafted in 1951. That's a while ago, all the way up to someone who was serving in 2000. So we've got a pretty interesting window. And I'm going to do my best to convey what we said. Let's see if this is in order. Okay. From the early 1950s and every decade since, from every branch of military service, some were drafted, some enlist. From the towns of central Iowa to each corner of the earth, we have traveled, we have served, and we all share some lessons learned. Now this place that we call home is a great place to grow up, where there's neighbors helping neighbors who make sure others have enough. We hope you always want to live here. It's a place we love to be. So this advice might sound unusual for a little while. We hope you leave. Go when you get the chance. Don't be afraid of something new, like another state or country, or maybe just another point of view, another person's life or circumstance helps you appreciate the things you have. We hope you go and let your world expand. Go when you get the chance. Now when you go explore the world, all the people, all the places, new landscape and new culture, different weather, food and races. We'll take what you've learned here, that we take pride each time we start. When we see work that needs our efforts, we work hard to do our part. Now listen close and please remember, people everywhere you go will tend to watch the thing you do, what you say and what you know. So if you treat them with respect and you respect their way of life, they will show respect for you and they will try to treat you right. Go when you get the chance. Don't be afraid of something new, like another state or country, or maybe just another point of view. Another person's life or circumstance helps you appreciate the things you have. We hope you go and let your world expand. Go when you get the chance. What you can learn today from us, from veterans of every age, is that our flag means so much more than brilliant colors we can wave. It means respect for life and freedom, for school and community, for family and friends, for firemen and police. It means take pride in your country and in everything you do. It means you do the best for others and you do the best for you. So go when you get the chance. Don't be afraid of something new, like another state or country, or maybe just another point of view. Another person's life or circumstance helps you appreciate the things you have. We hope you go and let your world expand. And go when you get the chance. Go when you get the chance. Okay, so thank you again to the people who shared ideas. And for our big finish, we, every student in this school, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, got together, we rotated through, wrote down ideas, and before I start singing to the veterans, I would like you to know that the first verse starts like this. We are thankful for you and what you have done for our country and for our lives. Freedom and rights come from sacrifice for a lifetime or just a day. So that's where we're going to take it. The band is getting ready. Jane. So James is going to help me out on guitar. The stool's coming. Come on up. Thanks, James. The band is getting ready. And singers, you got to think big, especially once they come in. Good? Yeah. We've had like 6 minutes of practice, so we know this is flawless. I have to get the other song out of my head. So. This is the rhythm they thought would work best. It goes like this. Whoa, that's not good. We are thankful for you and what you have done for our country and for our lives. Freedom and rights come from sacrifice for a lifetime or just one day. We are learning from you and what you have done, that we all matter, each and every one. We can choose to help, we can choose to stand for one another and for what's right. Thank you. Guys, let's take it out, right? Thank you to the songwriters and thank you to the band. They sound great.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Selby, for sharing with us today. It has been a privilege and an honor to have you here with us for this special Veterans Day program. On behalf of the entire BCLUW Middle School student body, I would like to thank you for helping us convey just how special our veterans are to us. This is an experience we will never forget. All veterans and their guests are invited to join us for a reception held in the school library following the program today. We will hope you will be able to join us.
As we close our program today, I would like to leave you with this thought. Veterans Day by Cheryl Dyson. On Veterans Day, we honor all who answered to a service call. Soldiers young and soldiers old fought for freedom, brave and bold. Some have lived while others died, and all of them deserve our pride. We're proud of all the soldiers who kept thinking of red, white, and blue. They fought for us in all of our rights. They fought through many days and nights. And though we may not know each name, we thank all veterans just the same.
On behalf of the BCLUW Middle School student body, I would like to thank everyone for taking time out of their busy schedules to come help us honor our veterans today. Veterans, as you leave here today, we hope that you feel that the well-deserved gratitude that we have for you. Thank you again for our freedom. Sergeant David Schmidt will now close our program.
We're going to have a tap here in just a second, but before we do, as I was getting ready, somebody came up to me and says that all you veterans who have not gone to the honor flight, you should probably see if you can make arrangements to go to that, because he said that's the most outstanding thing that he has done in a long time. So if you have a chance to get on the honor flight, sign up for the honor flight. If you need a sponsor, get a hold of me and I'll sponsor you. At this time, we'll have taps. Would you all please rise? We get the honor guard to retire the colors. Honor guard, they're over. Bill to your left. retire the colors, we'll retire the different branches of service. And while they're getting ready to do that, I'd like to thank the elementary school, or the middle school for the program. I think this is, out of the 2019 that I have attended, this is probably the best one I've had so far. I appreciate you all, the work you've done putting in that song, beautiful song. And I hope you take to heart what the veterans put in their song. Honor guard. Retire the colors.
Port arms. Forward, march. Halt. Present arms. Retire the colors. Order, arms. About face. Forward, march. Halt.
Coast Guard. Air Force. Navy. Marine Corps. Army.
Due to the lateness of the day, we'll have to dismiss here a second. So but I would like to thank all the veterans and our audience for coming here today. We had a great program here, and thank Dr. Khan to celebrate once again. So we'll have to dismiss our students because I think our buses are waiting out there. So we had a great program today. So 6th graders, if you want to head out the door, please do so. Thank you very much.